As more and more Indonesian citizens are rescued from Sihanoukville, Cambodia, presumed to be victims of abuse and human trafficking, Indonesian government continues to intensify search and repatriations. This goes in line with day 2 of 55th ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting. Rahmat Idris is in Phnom Penh with the latest report. Rahmat, what more can you tell us about this?
Hi, Stephanie. Well, it's not looking good. The number continues to rise in terms of the Indonesian citizens being rescued, being saved from scam, and also violations of human rights, and also the crimes of human trafficking taking place in Sihanoukville here in Cambodia. Just last night, another group of Indonesian citizens comprising of 21 people arrived here in the capital Phnom Penh in Cambodia, meaning that the additional 21 added to the already existing 70 Indonesian citizens already here in Phnom Penh, making it total 91 saved and evacuated Indonesian citizens from the crimes of human trafficking and also violence taking place in Sihanoukville. A little over 5-hour drive from the capital of Phnom Penh here in Cambodia, where they lived and worked for a while, and all of the promised rights and contracts were not up to par to what they expected. And just to add to that, the agenda today at the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Phnom Penh in Cambodia was the completion of the first big batch. All the 70 first batch of Indonesian citizens have finished to be interviewed and also to be investigated in terms of getting all the insights, all the deeper knowledge on what exactly happened to them, starting from their hometowns in Indonesia and how they get involved in the crimes and what exactly the experiences were in Sihanoukville, Cambodia. And some of the grim stories were heard from these Indonesian citizens. Some of them said that not only they were given false promise on the salary, which was a far cry from the amount that they were promised in Indonesia, but also the sort of work that they had to do here in Cambodia and the poor and far from ideal accommodations provided for them. And not to mention the fact that if they underperformed, they are subject to being sold to another company. Some of them said that they can be sold from $3,000 and up to $4,000 per person to another company if they don't perform as expected, meaning that this sort of case is exactly the definitions of human trafficking. And another grim story saying that some of them would like to escape from the house where they were kept in. And if they were found to be escaping, they will be held and they will be detained. And some of them would be electrocuted, and also they would be beaten, meaning that this is a violence of human rights. And that is something that the authority of the police authority of the Cambodian, because this is their law jurisdictions, is trying to pursue in support from the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Phnom Penh, and also with the representative of the police department from Indonesia, and also the representative of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. And as we mentioned earlier, all the 70 Indonesians have finished being interviewed, meaning that they are ready to go home. However, we spoke earlier with the director of the Indonesian Citizens Abroad, Mr. Yuda Nugraha from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He stated that it is found to be quite a complex issue in terms of bringing them home. It was also a statement from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Retno Marsudi, saying that she had met today amidst all the busy agenda of the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting. She met with the Interior Minister of Cambodia to get into a deeper talk and discussions on how they get through the same platform to rescue these Indonesians in Sihanoukville, because it is presumed that this is only the tip of the iceberg. Some of the confessions from the rescued Indonesians have said that it is estimated, if not 900, over 1,000 Indonesians are still living, residing, and working in Sihanoukville. And it is of course, the police is still trying to figure out the percentage of these 1,000 Indonesians who are suffering the same case of violations of human trafficking. So that is a subject to pursue for all of these stakeholders. In the meantime, the meeting between Indonesian Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi with the Interior Minister of Cambodia have sort of come up with the agreement to formulate a so-called draft of Memorandum of Understanding to find ways to prevent in the future the transnational organized crimes, and with a specific attention being given to the human trafficking crimes, and that will prevent it to occur in the future. So continuing on what we said on the plans to repatriate these Indonesians that have finished with their interrogations, with their interviews, the availability of seats is scarce from Phnom Penh to Jakarta, and from what the Minister of Foreign Affairs says, that they only succeed to bring home for the first batch 12 Indonesian. So they will be departing tomorrow morning rather, from Phnom Penh with a few hours transit in Singapore, and by tomorrow evening they will be arriving at Soekarno-Hatta International Airport. And that is great news. The first batch of 12 first rescued Indonesian in the scam business and also in the crimes of human trafficking. And upon arrival in Indonesia, they will be taken care of by the Ministry of Social Affairs for their reintegration process into the communities, including their rehabilitations from all the traumas that they suffered while being here, while working here in Cambodia. In the meantime, the crimes will be pursued as we uphold the rule of law by the police of the Republic of Indonesia. In the meantime, in conjunction to that report, here in Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia, the second day has entered for the 55th Foreign Ministers ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting here in the city. And the second day is predominantly comprised of the meetings between ASEAN and its big economy strategic partners. The day has begun here in Phnom Penh with the meeting of ASEAN with China, which was held simultaneously with ASEAN plus South Korea. If I may elaborate a little bit on what the outcomes were from the meeting between ASEAN and China, one of the main focus and points in the discussion was food security, and how China and ASEAN countries have decided to strengthen the capacity building of food productions, and also come up with some sort of agreed mechanisms to provide supply chains of food for emergency, and to boost up investment in food innovations and more cooperations in the productions of food across the region of Southeast Asia. And some of the notable meetings between ASEAN and partners included this morning with ASEAN and Japan, which interestingly next year, this particular relations and partnerships will enter its golden year. Next year, ASEAN and Japan will enter its 50 years of partnerships, meaning that there's huge celebration coming up next year, hosted by Indonesian governments, taking place in Tokyo, with a huge theme of golden partnerships, golden opportunities. Other notable meetings between ASEAN and partners this morning also took place between ASEAN and the UK, and just finished a couple of hours ago, ASEAN and Australia and New Zealand, India, Canada, and a few other notable countries as well. But right now, ongoing as I report to you, is the highly sensitive and highly attentive meeting of ASEAN and the big economies of the United States. Anthony Blinken is here to speak with foreign ministers of ASEAN, and also ASEAN and European Union, which is happening concurrently, simultaneously in different ballrooms here at the Soka Hotel in Phnom Penh. And at the end of the day, later on, sometimes around 6 p.m. local time, the finale will be between ASEAN plus Russia. A lot of eyes will be on this particular meeting because some of the most tense geopolitical attentions right now are being paid to Russia and its invasion and its aggressions in Ukraine, exacerbating the food and energy security across the globe at the moment. So this will be a time where ASEAN as a strategic community will have its say for Russia as a strategic partners moving forwards, how they will come up with agreements to secure the agriculture and also food and security issues. And we'll look forward to the end of the day today as more to expect from these bilateral meetings, ASEAN and its strategic partners. In the meantime, from Phnom Penh, Cambodia, I'm Rahmat Idris. Let's head back to Jakarta to Stephanie. Stephanie.
Thank you very much, Rahmat Idris, for your sharing and updates from Phnom Penh, Cambodia.